Shalom, Israel. This brother Yahweh from the three Hebrew boys. My other brothers are out of town. Shub Judah and brother Theophilus. I hope I got that right. But I wanted to do a video on this guy right here. An incident that happened was coming through YouTube with questions like, when is this going to stop? What can we do? Let's join together. The same thing that went on in the 50s and the 40s and the 60s. Here it is, 2020, and we still saying the same thing. Still marching, protesting. Can we find the answers to what's going on with the black race and Mexicans in this country? Can we find it in the Bible? The athlete about what happened in Minnesota and what's going on with the black race. Not one of them, including the Muslim leader, Farrakhan, not one of them came with any kind of biblical answer to why this would not stop. It's like a generational curse, which I believe it is, and I'll prove it to you that it is a generational curse. But if you don't know your true identity and who you are, where you fit in society, you consider a lost race. Didn't Christ say, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel? That means there's a race out there that's lost, that have no idea who they are, where they fit in the Bible. Other races can find themselves in Scripture, but the 12 tribes of Israel, for some reason, can't do it. I'm having problems with this AC, so if I leave for a second, it's to reset the breaker. Other races can find themselves. For some reason, Israel can't. We're lost. We're trapped in other races, other religions. What happened to us that we have to have a generational curse? I remember as a young man, my grandmother and my parents would always point to different types of hangings. Ku Klux Klan coming and taking people, black men out of their homes. How hard it was in the 70s for a black man to just get along. You can be from any other country now and come over and set up shop where you can make your money. You living somewhere else, but all your income gonna come out of the black. And they profiting off of us. Been going on for years. They profiting off of us. There has to be an answer. We've tried everything else all down through the years, every decade. Now here I am in my mid-50s, and it's still, I'm headed to the graveyard. And still, it's the same old cry out. Do sometimes you ask yourself, do God hear us? I'm going to show you that he does, but not in a way that you Christians put it. Christianity is like a spider web. And the Most High God is trying to bring some of us out of this web. It's a thought mind that keeps you from finding out who you really are. Because understanding your identity gives you laws, something to live for. And you think twice about committing certain crimes, or you think twice about dressing a certain way, or you think twice about eating a certain way because you have laws now. The laws was only given to one race of people. That's why the other race can do whatever they want. Esau can do whatever he wants to do. And he's been doing that for thousands of years because the law was never given to Esau or any other races. Esau, the Moabs, Ishmael, laws wasn't given to them. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Jacob and Esau was two brothers. The promise was given to Jacob. Something happened along the way. I'm going to go through scriptures, and I'm going to show you that this is not going to stop. This shooting and killing, it's not going to stop. I'm knocking on 60, and I'm still seeing the same thing when I was 12 and 13 years old for my parents and grandparents. Now they dead and gone. And it's the same thing, just a different generation. There's a reason behind it. I'm going to show you who we are. And this is going out to blacks, mainly blacks and Mexicans, because we're the ones that's lost. Now, the 12 tribes consist of a lot of other nations, especially in the South Pacific. Ephraim, Manasseh, Judah, which is us, Levi, Benjamin. There's 12 of us. And all of us have been through some type of slavery, but Judah is getting the brunt end of it. Judah and Issachar. Issachar is the Mexican descendants. They are called, according to the 12 tribe chart, Issachar. But I'm gonna start in Deuteronomy, and I'm gonna go through these scriptures and try to bring it up to show you that these killings are not going to stop. The only way you can get this to even slow down is to wake up and come back to the law, statutes, and commandments. Now, your Sunday churches tell you that those laws was done away with. The only law that was done away with was the law of sacrifice. The Messiah was the last one to be sacrificed. He was the last prophet. There was other prophets before him. But the Most High God said, this is it. I'm not sending any more. And that's why he became a sacrifice. And he begged his father not to die the way he did. But he went through it anyway. This was, I'm not talking about this gay white Jesus that you're talking about, that you've known under your Christian and Catholic teachings. I'm talking about the black brother with the dreadlocks from the tribe of Judah. And Judah is the tribe that the Negroes in America are from. So if Christ was to come back, he'd be right here in America, probably on the south side of Chicago. Let's go to Deuteronomy 7 and 6. Yeah. Deuteronomy 7 and 6. I'm going to go through several different scriptures and try to prove a point that we are not I can say Negroes, but we're not African American. I want to show you this. When you call yourself African American, hopefully you can read this. This is what you're saying. See? I'm going to read it off and show you. That we are from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And something happened long ago. Roman general Scipio Africanus and the Italian explorer Amerigo Vespucci. In Psalms 49:11, their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. That's why there's no such race as French, Italian, Jamaican, Americans. Those are not nations. They came up with this to hide their identity. Esau, Edomites. That the world is given into the hands of the wicked, and we're not running nothing. See, so when you call yourself African American, you calling yourself a slave to these two white generals. That's what you're doing. You a slave to them. You were a slave in the nation, in the continent of Africa. Then you came over here and you got slaved again. So they tagged us with this name, African American. There's no such thing as African American. But you have to go to these scriptures to come out of it. And them Sunday matrix garbage that you learn on Sunday, it's a matrix to keep you dumbed down. And they are paying those black ministers. And if you think I'm lying, ask them about the 501c3. They get paid through taxes to keep you dumbed down. Deuteronomy 7:6, for thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God has chosen thee to be a special people unto him, showing you that he took of all the races that he created, he made one his favorite, which is the dove. Of all the four-legged beasts that he created one to be his special one, which is the lamb. So on and so on. He did humans, the races, the same way. He made one race unto himself. God has chosen thee to be a child upon the face of the earth. It's just too simple. Now, what you gotta figure out is, who is this race of people that he's talking about? I'm not talking about you Israelites that's watching this. I'm talking about you Sunday worshipers that's coming across this video for the first time. What people is he talking about? What race of people is his that he protected throughout the early years of them, because they didn't follow through. Eventually they got punished. Let me go to Amos 3, 1, 2, and 3. That's the precept to that. Amos. You gotta find out who God's chosen people are, because it's being hidden through this matrix. It really is being hidden who we are. And that's why we do stupid stuff when we go out in the public. Amos 3. Okay. Amos 3, 1, 2, and 3. Hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel. See, that's God's chosen people. Against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt. So these people came out of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore I will punish you. Listen. Therefore I will punish you for your iniquities. Is that a punishment? What happened to this guy? What happened to George Floyd and all the other people before George Floyd that died under the hands of the police? I will punish you for all your iniquities. In other words, when other nations sin and do wrong, the Most High God overlooked that because the laws wasn't given to them. But when Israel go against the laws, we get punished worse. Here's an example. Your kid goes to next door to the neighbor, and they go out and do something bad. They get caught. Police bring them back. These two boys was doing wrong. They bring both the boys back to your house, your son and the neighbor's kid. Now, which one of them boys gonna get spanking the worst? The neighbor's or yours? Your child gonna get a beat down. You're going in the land on Israel worse than any other race on this planet. Now, still, you got to find out, are you a part of Israel? Because there's 12 tribes. You got to go into that Old Testament, and I know them Sunday churches tell you don't go into the Old Testament. It was done away with. They tell you that so you don't find yourself you find yourself and you'll find Esau and why they be agreed. Now let's go into Deuteronomy so I can show you who Israel is and let's see if we are a part of these 12 tribes. Deuteronomy 28. This is what's important, because you can march and sing all you want to until you come back to these laws and understand that you are an Israelite and you're not no African American. Deuteronomy 28. 15. This stuff is going to continue. The beat downs, the shootings, the killings. Okay, Deuteronomy 28. Let's go to 15. But it shall come to pass, because we're already out of the wilderness now. We're in the wilderness. We're out of Egypt. And these laws have been given to Moses to come back and tell us. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day. Now, let me stop you for a minute, because I know you Christians are going to say, well, we're under Christ. Christ did all of these when he was here. All of these laws, statutes, and commandments, the Messiah, y'all call him cross. I call him the Messiah. Y'all call him Christ. I call him the Messiah. And so did all the Israelites and the 12 disciples. They never called him Christ. They always called him the Messiah. He did all the law, statutes, and commandments, even the holy days. So if you're saying we follow Christ, we're under the New Testament, how can you have a New Testament without the Old Testament? He did everything that was in the Old Testament. Let me start over. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Now, this book here can show you that where we are as a black race, how we fit in. This is the identity. This is what your Sunday ministers don't want you to find out, especially Esau, which is the Caucasian race. They never want you to go here. Let's go to Deuteronomy 28. I'm not going to go through all the curses, but let's go to 28:68. This is the one that normally hits the ball out of the ballpark. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. Now, let me stop right there, because if you're hearing Egypt, it's saying Egypt. But Egypt is synonymous to something else. Okay? So let's go to Exodus 20. Exodus 20:1, so we can find out what Egypt means. This is a precept. Exodus 20:1. And God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. So Egypt means bondage. Bondage is synonymous to slavery. So now let's go to Deuteronomy 28:68 and read it over, but we're going to change the word. And the Lord shall bring thee into slavery again. Now, how did you black folks get to America when you came out of Africa? How did we get to England on that slave ship called Good Ship Jesus? How did they get to England? How did they get to the South America, the South Pacific, on slave ships? So who does this fit? Who else was on slave ships? This is how you can find Israel, the 12 tribes, especially Judah, which is the Negro race. There's a I want this was a book. I'll get it. Which is the Negro race, was on slave ships. Now, when the Jewish people try to claim these atrocities that happened to us years ago, like back in 70 AD, when Christ said, when you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, flee into the mountains. The Jewish people were trying to say that was them, but it was not. It couldn't have been. Because the mountains he was talking about was the Atlas Mountains that went into Africa. That's how Africa, the south part of Africa and the west coast got populated when Israel fled into Africa. The northern part was Hamites. They were already there. That's the Egyptian area. They were already there. When we fled into Africa, we went by the millions before 70 AD, when 70 AD came, and after 70 AD. So a lot of us got caught, but it was millions already going into Africa. So it's identity, because we had got lost. Before I get into that, I'm gonna go into some other scriptures and show you how we lost our identity. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. By the way, therefore, I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. We will never see that land again, which is, he's talking about Jerusalem. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies. Who was on auction blocks? What race was on auction blocks? You see how simple this is? Do you need a degree to understand who was on auction blocks? It doesn't take a college degree to understand. It's got to be talking about us. There wasn't a white man nowhere on no auction block being sold to Master Jefferson or Master Smith or Master whoever. And there you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. There's a precept to that, which is Jeremiah 17 and 14. Jeremiah 17 and 14. This is a precept. Jeremiah 17 and 14. Jeremiah 17. Get that right? Jeremiah 17. 1 and 4. 17, 1 through 4. The sin of Judah is written with a pen of iron and with the point of a diamond. It is graven upon the table of their heart and upon the horns of their altars, the green trees upon the high hills. O my mountain in the field, I will give thy substance and all thy treasures to the spoil, and thy high places for sin throughout all thy borders. And thou even thyself shall discontinue from thy heritage that I give thee. That was Israel, the land Israel, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. Are we in a strange land? America is not our land. We were brought here on slave ships. The land which thou knowest not, for ye have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever. We pissed the Most High God off. Remember, he only dealt with Israel, so our punishment is worse than anybody else. This is the Most High God saying he was fed up with us. Now, Sunday churches would tell you that he divorced us, which he did. And when he divorced us, it opened the door for the other world to come in. And this is where you have Christianity. See, he opened the door for the church, is what they call it, which is really the Catholic Church. It opened the door for the church as you see it today on Sundays. Not so. That did not happen. When he divorced her, that's when he divorced us. That's the point of him sending his son, Yeshua, to bring us back. This is what the Messiah was trying to do when he was in Rome. We had lost our identity. We sitting there calling ourselves Romans. We was calling ourselves Greeks. Just like today you call yourselves American, and we're not. He was trying to bring us back to the law, statutes, and commandments that was handed to Moses, bringing us back to the holy days and not the holidays, trying to get us to stop child sacrificing on Christmas, Easter, and all of that mess that was the real born. Who would that started all that child sacrifice? I wish my boys was here. Judges. Solomon was doing all the sacrifices with the 6-pointed star. See, that's where it started. Let's go. I'm gonna keep going because I'm gonna show you we really messed up in the past. That's why we have such a generational curse. That's Deuteronomy 28 and 68. There's so many. Let's go to Amos. Did I do Amos 3 and 1? Amos. I'm gonna show you that we are a special people. Amos 3 and 1. Hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities. I think I read this one. Hosea 1 and 10. Yeah, Hosea 1 and 10. I want to get to the ones where we really screwed up. Yeah, 1 Corinthians 10 and 20. There we go. Stay. 1 Corinthians 10. Yes, sir. This one here, 10 and 20. This is how we screwed up years ago. And some people think when you tell them you're Hebrew, they thinking it's an organization. They thinking it's an organization, and it's not. Hebrew is a race. It is a race of people. When the Most High God told Jacob, when he was fighting with him, to no longer call himself Israel, he no longer called himself Jacob. His name would become Israel, which means prince of the Most High. So every child that came out of Jacob were called Israelites. Hebrew was a language that was spoken, so that's how you get Hebrew Israelites. So now when you tell people that's waking up, understanding who they are in these scriptures, they think that Hebrew is an organization, some type of religious organization. It is not. It's a race. It is our race that was given to us. So who told Esau, the Caucasian race, to strip us of our identity and give us this African American garbage, and give us a new savior that you call Jesus? I'm gonna get on him. I'm gonna show you a picture of him. I'm gonna give you some information on this person that's gonna tie into this verse here that y'all keep calling Jesus, which is have a problem. Please wait. Okay. I think I'm having connection problems. Jesus is a Greek word for Zeus. But let me read 1 Corinthians 10 and 20. But I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils and not to God. And I would not that ye should have fellowship with devils. You cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of devils. You cannot be partakers of the Lord's table and of the table of devils. Now, but I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils. When you sacrifice things on Christmas, you're eating, you're cooking, aren't you sacrificing to this guy right here? That's your Jesus, right? That picture you saw and that picture right there is the same guy. Same guy. That's your Jesus. Pure D evil. And the man was gay. And he had sex with his sister for 31 years. So when you say Jesus and you think about that white faggot, that's who you're thinking about. That's your savior. This is what the Most High God is upset about. I'm having problems with the connections. I'm going to go over real quick what I just went over. This 1 Corinthians 10, it said, I say the things which I say to Gentiles and not to God. I don't know if it picked up on this because I'm having connection problems. I showed earlier that this is your Jesus. That faggot gay white boy, that's who you keep calling Jesus. This is what the Most High God is upset about. But I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils and not to God. When your holy holidays come around, your Christmas and your Easter and you all this Jesus, this is what he's talking about. The God that brought us out of Egypt is upset with that. He was upset with that generations before, and he's upset with us now because it's a generation that since slavery, because it was beaten into us actually to worship that white devil. It was beaten into us. It was beaten into us to lose our identity and who we are as a race of people. We're not African American. We are the children of God, the children of Israel. This book, what you call Bible, you can say it's a holy. People that wrote this book, the disciples, they were all children of Israel. None of them was Muslims. They were not Muslim. The Messiah, Yeshua, was the last prophet, and he was not Muslim or was he from a Muslim race or family? He was not from I forgot. I can't think of his. He was from Abraham and Isaac. Not the other. There were other two sons that were made up of the Muslim race. Muhammad is from the Middle Eastern race, not the Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob side. They both had two sons. Abraham, then Isaac had two sons. Okay, let's go. Let me pick another one before this computer mess up again. I'm just showing how we are the children of Israel and why we get punished so bad and why this just won't stop. Okay, paint it like this. First verse, Maccabees. Let's go to Jeremiah 14. Oh no, let's go to Deuteronomy 28:46. Let's go back to Deuteronomy 28:46. Okay, Deuteronomy 28:46. Now, understand this now. Remember the picture I showed you of George Floyd, and all the others would have died in the hands of the police throughout time. Now, we always saying, when is this going to stop? Why are they doing this? Why do they just get away with it? Listen to this. Deuteronomy 28:46. Moreover, this is 45. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee and shall pursue thee, okay, and overtake thee till thou be destroyed. Are we a destroyed race? Yes, we are. That's why we don't know who we are. We walk around with no identity. We do things without even thinking about it or thinking about the consequences after we do it. The children of Israel is a destroyed race, especially Judah, which is the American Negroes. And overtake thee, be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee. The Sunday churches are the ones that's keeping you from doing this, because they always tell you don't go into the Old Testament. Them pimp daddy Sunday ministers, God, oh God, God, oh God, God, oh God. Them guys right there. They keep you from going into the Old Testament, finding your identity. And you wonder why every year, generation after generation, we still get shot down. Then when we go to court, they get away scot-free or a less sentence. So here's the answer that I'm giving you why this mess is not going to stop. It's not going to stop until either World War III start or the Messiah comes. And what they got planned next is giving everybody these shots for this corona mess. That's the next plan, because it's going to be another phase. Flu is a flu. A virus is virus has been around for, especially corona, for years. And you black folks know your grandparents always gave you some kind of hot tonic or something and got rid of that virus within 2 or 3 days. A hot sauna. Oh, that's why they tell you don't go out in the sun, because the sun actually kills the virus. But anyway, that's another subject. I want to focus on why we keep getting shot down, beat down by the police. Next is going to be the Klan. They're going to come out. And nothing ever happens. Generation after generation, it seems like it never stops. We are the children of Israel of that Bible. And until we wake up to who we are and come back to these laws, there's only a handful of us that's doing it. That's why you see a lot of Israelite camps all over. They're trying to wake up. I think it's Hosea 6:2 say, I'll wake my people up in 2 days. That's 2,000 years. So we are trying to wake up. We really are. But it's not enough of us. The Most High God looks at us as a whole race, the nation of Israel. Blacks, Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, Jamaicans, we're all the nation of Israel. Judah is a separate nation. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed, which is children, forever. You see, all of this that's been done to us is a sign to tell you that we are the children of Israel. Why is this not happening to the Jewish people that's over in Israel, them Edomites? You see, they living off of our identity because we don't have no clue who we are. So they took it, and nations are sending them money and funds because those that help Israel will be blessed by Israel. That's scripture. See? That's how they get millions on top of millions, because they got the world thinking that they were the Jews in 70 AD that got ran out. So they created a Holocaust under Hitler, and they used the event with Hitler as an excuse. Them people got ran out of their land. We left Israel in 70 AD. That was in the 1940s. What happened to the Jewish people, 1939, 1940? But they never used the event in 70 AD because those were all Negroes when they went into Israel and ran us out of there and made us slaves in a Roman Colosseum. It was, but when you don't know nothing, you'll fall for anything. That's why you have to wake up. I'm so happy that the Most High blessed me to my identity, and I'm not giving it up for nobody. And I just came out of a bad marriage, metamorphosis. It changed me. It changed a lot. That'll be another video. I'm not going to go into that now. Oh, there you go again. Your connection is unstable. Okay, we back. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. So you see, this is not going to stop. It's going to get worse. But when you see that, that goes to show you that those are the children of Israel that's going through that. And this is how you can find your identity. The children of God are the ones that's out here getting gunned down, not just by the white race, because there are some white people that go off killing us for no reason. Don't have to be cops and go to court and get away scot-free. There's your answer. That's the best one I can give, which is Deuteronomy 28, 45, and 46. It's a sign for us who we are. And once you realize, man, this got to be talking about us. You got to come and back under these laws that you commanded. Change your dietary law. Get off of this Christmas and Easter garbage. That was for Esau. They created that under this false Christ you call Jesus. Christmas, Easter, Halloween, Thanksgiving, which is the slaughter of millions of the tribe of Gad. Gad and the northern 10 tribes came over here, and they were friendly to the Englishmen for 25 years until they turned against Gad. And they made it a holiday and called it Thanksgiving and lied and say they sat down and had a meal with them people. No. They taught the English people, even taught them how to ride horses bareback and how to live on the land. And after 25 years, they had a battalion of people that came from England and started going from village to village to village, just murdering. And the governor had to put a stop to it because they was making a holiday after each slaughter and created one holiday and called it Thanksgiving. See? And Gad is our brother. You still want to celebrate Thanksgiving? See? I can go on about that. I want to stay focused on this. I want to get another scripture showing you why this is not going to stop with us. Judah. Let's go to Jeremiah 14 and 2. Jeremiah 14 and 2. Jeremiah 14 and 2. Judah mourneth. Judah, that's the Negroes, mourneth. That's when we sitting there crying. When I say crying, I don't mean just tears, but we keep saying to ourselves, why do they keep the cops keep killing us? This right here. You remember how we mourn? We mourn after this, okay? We mourn after this guy. Trayvon Martin, we mourn, crying out to God for help. That's what mourneth means. Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish. They are black unto the ground. You see? Judah, we are a black race of people. So who are them Jews over there in Israel? If this book is saying Judah is black, who are those people over in Israel, in our land, that the Messiah will bring us back to that land when he returns? Until then, We have to go through these curses. This is a generational curse. These curses are going to come, whether you want it or not. You can only prepare for it. Remember now, Jews, we are the ones that said, crucify him, crucify him. Those was all Negroes right there. But if you listen to Sunday churches, you think it was just a general, just people there. No, it was all Negroes. And he said, our children's children will be cursed. Barabbas, by the way, was not a thief. Barabbas was trying to take back from the Romans what they stole out of Jerusalem, which is where we were. He formed a group of Negroes to go back and steal from Rome the golds that they stole out of Jerusalem when they ran us under Herod, when they ran us out of Rome. It was almost every year they was going in there just running us out, stealing whatever they wanted. That's another topic. But just to show you, Barabbas was not a thief. Your Sunday churches tell you that. And I tell you, Sunday churches is a matrix. You got to come out of that matrix, or else you're not going to see it. But as far as these curses and what's happening to us in the streets, it's not going to stop. It's not going to stop. We pissed the Most High off. And this is a generational curse. You can only wake up yourself and come out of it so these curses can bypass you. Because now you're coming under the law, you're coming back to the Most High. See, his name is Ahia. You're coming back to the Most High. I am that I am. And in Hebrew is Ahia. See, and things will change for you in your life. You gain strength. He gives you wisdom. Wisdom is a female. That's who's in the heavens. It's so much to learn when you become a Hebrew. Wisdom is the female. I want to get Sunday churches also talks about saints. Let's go to Psalms 37:26 and see. Let's see who the saints are. I'm showing you how we as Israelites, we are all over this Bible. Psalms. This whole book belongs to us. Psalms 37:26. And there was 37. Psalms 37:26. Let's see who the saints are. He is ever merciful and lendeth, and his seed is blessed. Depart from evil and do good, and dwell forevermore. For the Lord loveth judgment, and forsaketh not his saints. They are preserved forever, but the seed of the wicked shall be cut off. Now go to Psalms 50 and 45. Psalms 54 and 5. He shall call to the heavens from above and to the earth, that he may judge a covenant with me by sacrifice. Who made a covenant? Man. Keep messing up. Who made a covenant with the Most High? The Israelites wilderness. By sacrifice. Remember, he had to sacrifice a lamb. The lamb, the blood was shed. So that sacrifice, that covenant that was given to Israel was forever. It could never be changed. Even when the Messiah came, he couldn't change it. That's why he followed the old laws that was given to Moses. That covenant was by blood. So the new covenant, this is why the Messiah came to bring us back. There's going to be a new marriage ceremony. And he was trying to wake Israel up. That's why he told the Greek girl, I didn't come for you. I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. He was trying to wake us up. Now, though it was a lot of us that didn't listen, that's why in the New Testament, I can't even think of that soldier's name, clean and unclean meat, because we are such a hard-headed, stiff-necked people. There were people in those days that was willing to follow the laws, statutes, and commandments of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's when it was open to other races, but they had to follow the laws of Abraham, or the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Let's go to, I'm gonna see if I can find that. Genesis. Christ came sprung out of Judah, wake up with sleep. Let me show you this. Nations coming together. I'm gonna go to Psalms 83, and I'm gonna show you how the nations came together to destroy us. There was another one. Exodus. I'm trying to remember the books. Jeremiah. Jeremiah had visions of us too. Jeremiah to bring Israel. Jeremiah was a prophet that was sent by God. Turned against. This is Jeremiah. Jeremiah chapter 1 on 15. For lo, I will call all the families of the kingdoms of the north, saith the Lord, and they shall come, and they shall set everyone his throne at the entering of the gates of Jerusalem, and against all the walls thereof around about. Now we're in Jerusalem now, and against all the cities of Judah. And I will utter my judgment against them, touching all their wickedness, who have forsaken me, and have burned incense unto other gods, and worship the works of their own hands. This is Judah, Negroes. Now we're turning against our God. Okay. This is chapter 2, verse 3. Israel was holiness unto the Lord, and the first fruits of his increase. All that devour him shall offend. Evil shall come upon them, saith the Lord. Hear ye the word of the Lord, O house of Jacob, and all the families of the house of Israel. You notice it's not talking about any other nation. It's only talking about the Israelites. Thus said the Lord, what iniquity have your fathers found in me, that they are gone far from me, and have walked after vanity, and are become vain? Neither, said they, where is the Lord that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, that led us through the wilderness, through a land of deserts, and of pits of the shadow of death, through a land that no man passed through, and where no man dwelt. And I brought you into a plentiful country to eat the fruit thereof and the goodness thereof. But when you entered, you defiled my land. That's the land of Israel, and made mine heritage an abomination. You see, after he brought us out of the wilderness, he took us into the land of Israel. And this is how we thank the Most High God. Our forefathers did this. and made my heritage, his heritage is Israel, an abomination. The priests said not, where is the Lord? And they that handle also transgressed against me. And the prophets prophesied by Baal and walked after things that do not profit. Like this Jesus I showed you and all them holidays, you profit nothing from that because it has nothing to do with our God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You see, has a nation changed their gods, which are yet no gods? But my people have changed their glory for that which doeth not profit. You notice he always saying my people, my people. He's always talking about Israel as a whole nation. I want to get to okay. This is chapter 3 in Jeremiah, verse 1. They say, if a man put away his wife and she go from him and become another man's, shall he return unto her again? Shall not the land be greatly polluted? But thou hast played the harlot with many lovers, yet return again to me, saith the Lord. He's talking to Judah. That's the Negroes. He's still talking to Israel, mainly Judah. He's, he's telling us, he keep calling us back to him. This was our forefathers, and I don't know what was wrong with our people, but we wouldn't do it. But thou hast played the harlot with many lovers. When it says lovers, it's talking about other gods, like Catholic, Muslim, Protestant, all these different religions. It's what it means when it says many lovers. You start worshiping other things other than the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the God that brought us out of Egypt. Yet return again to me, saith the Lord. Lift up thy eyes unto the high places and see where thou hast not been lying with. In the ways of the land and with thy wickedness. This is what our forefathers done. And see, we still doing it today with Sunday worship. Keep cutting off. And see, this is what our forefathers had done in times past. And we still doing it today with Sunday worship. It's the same thing. You're worshiping other gods. And thou hast polluted their land with thy whoredoms and with thy wickedness. Therefore, the showers have been withholden, which is rain, and there has been no latter rain. And thou hast a whore's forehead. Thou refusest to be ashamed. It means you refuse to be ashamed. You can care less what people think of you. You going to this Sunday church worshiping this faggot, gay, white Jesus. His name is Cesar Borgia. And it doesn't bother you at all. Refusest to be ashamed. Wilt thou not from this time cry unto me, my father, thou art the guide of thy youth? This is verse 6. The Lord said also unto me in the days of Josiah the king, hast thou seen that which backsliding Israel That's all 12 of us. Backsliding Israel has done. She is gone up upon every high mountain and under every green tree, and there has played the harlot like a whore. And I said, after she had done all these things, turn thou unto me. Still telling us to stop and come back to the law, statutes, and commandments. This is what Sunday churches use and say he done away with us. You know, he wanted nothing else to do with the Israelites. That's a lie. But this is what they're using to say Israelites were done away with. But this is what our forefathers were doing. And God kept telling them to come back, stop whoring. Now, if you know, my wife committed adultery. All it takes is one time for me. And I want nothing else to do with her. Any man that catches his wife whoring, a good man, is done. That's one sin that is hard to forgive. That was a hard one to overlook. Same thing when a woman catches her man in some kind of an adultery, whoring. That's a hard pill to swallow. Our God kept telling our forefathers to stop. Let me read it again. And I said, after she had done all these things, turn. Judah saw it. See, the northern 10 tribes is Israel. When it was split, remember, Israel was split into two. That's your two witnesses, by the way. The northern 10 tribe and the tribe of Benjamin and Judah and Benjamin, and Levi, the southern tribe. Levi and Benjamin were smaller tribes, so they was under the umbrella of Judah. So they was all three lumped as Jews. They was calling us Jews. We're Judah. So when the Bible talks about Israel and Judah, Judah is the southern tribe, you know, which is the Negroes and Jamaicans and Haiti. But she returned not, and her treacherous sister Judah saw it. And I saw, when for all the curses, for all the causes whereby backsliding Israel committed adultery. See, here we go. That's the northern tribe. Committed adultery, I have put her away and given her a bill of divorce. That's what Sunday churches use. Now, Israel, remember, is the northern 10 tribes. And the divorce he gave was when he took the northern 10 tribes and brought them over to the Americas. They were no longer in Israel. They came here on ships. Arthurus was this land called, a land where no man dwelt. The 12 tribes came this way, and they end up in the South Pacific. He got rid of Israel, but that's the northern 10 tribes. Listen, I had put her away and given her a bill of divorce, yet her treacherous sister Judah feared not. That's the Negroes. That's us. Judah feared not, but went and played the harlot also. So we were doing the same thing the northern tribes were doing, worshiping false gods and other gods, showing you that there's more than one God. Christianity tell you it's only one. I'm not saying it. It's many gods. And we went after other gods after the northern 10 tribes did. Then we started doing it, worshiping those false holidays, sacrificing children, eating swine, pig. The dietary laws was all messed up. Wasn't worshiping on the Sabbath. It became the first day of the week. Worship of the sun, S-U-N, not S-O-N. See, we lost our Hebrew heritage. See, Judah feared not, but went and played the harlot also. This is Jeremiah 3. That was verse 7 and 8. And this is 9. And it came to pass through the lightness of her whoredom that she defiled the land and committed adultery with stones and with stocks. And yet for all this, her treacherous sister Judah had not turned unto me with her whole heart, but fidgetly, saith the Lord. You see, this is the things that we've done in times past. That's why we have such a generational curse, because we are the children of Israel. Them shootings and beatings are not going away. And this was it before Christ? Some of this was before Christ and after. And some of this, the Messiah was trying to teach and show us to try to change our ways. But he was talking to Israel. He was not talking to the world. That didn't come to a little bit later, after the vision with Peter. I can't think of that soldier's name that came to him. The clean and unclean meat. And the Lord said unto me, the backsliding Israel has justified herself more treacherous than Judah. So the northern 10 tribes was much worse than what we are. Deuteronomy 28:15. Okay, we read that 28 and 15 because that goes into the curses. I'm hoping you're able to see why there's so much shooting of us and killing of us. We're calling it off as being us blacks, but actually it's against the Israelites. Let me go to Psalms 83 and I'm going to show you all this is against Israel. You got to understand that there are 12 tribes of us, but in this country, the focus is only Judah. See, let me go to Psalms 83 and I'm going to show you how they're coming against us. Psalms 83. And it's not going to stop. There you go. Psalms 83. This is not going to stop, people. Psalms 83. Okay, listen. This is what they did in time past, and they still doing this to today, and I'll show you to you. Keep not thou silence. Verse 1. Keep not thou silence, O God, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God, for lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up their head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people. Remember, thy people is Israel. They came into a meeting. These are nations meeting with each other. Crafty counsel and consulted against thy hidden ones. That's Israel. Hidden ones means you don't know your identity. We've been hidden by being called other nationalities. Not nationalities, but we're being called names off the land that we live on. And consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation. So we're a nation of people. Nation, nationality. So how can you be African American? That's from a land. How can you be French? That's a land of France. How can you be Italian? That's a land of Italy. It goes on and on. We're named after land, so we would never find out. Israel would never connect to their God. See? They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. See, you don't know who you are. The Jewish people are trying to claim that. You have to go to Revelation 2 and 9. Those that say they are Jews are not, but are of the synagogue of Satan. That's the Jewish people. But see, we're slowly waking up that we are Israel. It's a slow process. And it's hard for black folks to give up that white faggot, that gay Cesar Borgia that they keep calling Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. There was no J's in those days. So where did the J come from? That was in the 1600s. So Jesus, this name Jesus had to come from some Cesar Borgia's father. Rodrigo Borgia was the Pope at that time. That book I held up, I'm going to make a video of it. This book here is in this book, how his father would make him to be worshiped as God. Normally when you say Jesus, you're thinking of a God. And that's that white guy named Cesar Borgia, who had sex with his sister Lucretia for 31 years. See, when you become a Hebrew, you wake up. The Most High God leads you to information and leads you to prophets or leaders, people that's been studying this for years. I just stand alone. Me and my boys, we call the 3 Hebrew boys. We come together from time to time. We don't have no congregation. Don't need one. We don't need your money. We don't need you to send nothing. There's some Israelite camps that are out there that are, they're growing, and they're good camps. The GOCC is, for me, the top of the line. That would be the only one. If you just need a body, I would send them to GOCC. They at the top. That brother has it going on. That brother got way more information than I do. But it's been some years now, and I want to get out. I want my voice heard. I want to be a warrior. And when I leave this world, I want them angels to come and pick me up and take me to the bosom of Abraham. The bosom of Abraham means sound sleep. Other than that, you're not in the bosom of Abraham. When you leave this world, you're fighting demons. You're under judgment. It's one or the other. And I'm striving to be in the bosom of Abraham. The afterlife is something else. It ain't nothing to be played with. It's a totally different world. You are fighting demons. I don't care who you are. There's no heaven up in them skies. You're going straight into judgment. That's just the way it is. That's in the book of Josephus. I'm telling you, man, when you understand that you are an Israelite and you come back to your God, man, he leads you to information and books that's just the Sunday church would say, oh, don't read that. That ain't canonical. Don't never let nobody tell you what you can't read. White folks read everything they get their hands on. But the minute we read something, all of a sudden it's a problem with it. See, don't read this because it ain't canonical. You got to be kidding me. It's so many. The Apocrypha. This book here was a part. It was in the Bible, 1611 edition. King James, the black King James, not the white one, the black one. The King James version, 1611, the Apocrypha is in that Bible. Catholic Church took it out. 14 books. Took out, I think it's 14 books. It's 80 altogether supposed to be a part of the Bible. It's our history book. Past, present, and future. It's our history book. It belongs to nobody but the Israelites. Anybody outside of that, you're welcome, but you're going to follow our God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You're not going to come under our umbrella and still worship Christmas and Easter and all those other demons or false demons. It's not going to work like that. But when you wake up and you want to be a part of a body, that's the GOCC is the one I would say go for it. The other ones are good too, just GOCC at the time concerned. Me and my boys, the 3 Hebrew boys, what we do is we just wake people up. We make videos, especially the older people that's hard-headed and stiff-necked. The younger ones, we try to feed you basic things that's called milk to try and wake you up and say, this brother onto something. These brothers got something. 3 Hebrew boys behind me. It's a picture of us behind me. We try to wake you up and try to bring you out of this matrix. Because if not, when they have another wave of this virus or whatever else they make up. COVID-19 is made up in a laboratory. That's made up. Whatever other diseases that they make up, you're going to fall in it and you're going to be a part of it. That's why the Bible says, come out of her, my people. Stop doing what they do. It can also mean come out of the land, yes, but that's in the future, in the time to come. Right now, it's telling you to stop doing what they do, worshiping the God that they worship. Worshiping this faggot, this gay. Says your Bojia. Stop calling yourself African American slave. You're a slave under the African Americana Vespucci, Leo Scipios Africanus, and Americo Vespucci. You're a slave to them. This is what the Most High is telling us to come out of her, my people. So you can get under this protection like an eagle's wing. Things change, things happen. And you focus your mind more on scriptures, on what wasn't taught to you and what lie was told to you. When you come out of the matrix, it's a different world. And I'm not giving this up for nobody. I'd rather die being alone. But I'm not giving up on my God. I've come back to my God. I've got myself baptized. It's been some years ago, though. And this is my teachings, is what I do, Brother Yahweh, and my two brothers from the 3 Hebrew boys. It's fantastic, man. It's and it gives you the answer why we keep getting beat down, why we can't get our heads blown off. It's going to be another one, I'm sure. And we're going to be right out there protesting, marching. Here come Al Sharpton and all the rest of them, them leaders that you never see until something happened. I think it was Al Sharpton at George's funeral, giving a eulogy. I haven't seen Al Sharpton in a good while. See, but it's headline news, and here he come. Here he come with his Jesus. Jesus love. Jesus love everybody. I just read to you, the Most High cares nothing about nobody but the nation of Israel. If my brothers was here, they can come up with some scripture to tell you that. Let me finish. They have said, come and let us cut them off, being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent, they are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites of Moab and the Hagarenes. Edom is a Caucasian race. These are the nations that they got together to come against us, that they will overtake us, and we will have no more remembrance of us being Israelites. Hebrew Israelites, Ishmael, Moab, Gebel, and Ammon, Amalek, the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre, as England and Russia. These are Arabs, Chinese, Egyptians, Africans, Japanese, Jewish people. All of these nations at that time came together under a council meeting to take us down and to wipe us being Hebrew Israelites out of our minds. And they did it. They couldn't do all of us like that because the Most High God left us because he will wake us up in the latter days. This is what we're doing now. We're in the book of Revelation. Matter of fact, Revelation 18, with the pandemic, that opened up Revelation 18. It's only 21 chapters to show you how short we are. These are the nations that came against us. Now they have the same organization, but they still have council meetings on what to do to different Israelites that are within those nations. What is it called? United Nations meeting. When they have those United Nations meeting, there are no representative of Hebrews. Obama is not a Hebrew Israelite. Obama is a Hamite. He's not from Shem. So if you're looking at, well, Obama was black, but he was from Ham. He was not from Shem. None of us are represented in any of their meetings, Council on Foreign Relations, any of them. The other nations that they have in Europe, world meetings, they still take counsel to this day on what to do with us because they know the Messiah is coming back. That's why they're building a defense system in space. They got you thinking they're going back and forth, but it's a defense system that they're trying to build, and they're trying to get the world under one accord, and they're using COVID-19 to do it. The COVID-19 is going to be a system of elimination, a process of elimination. They're going to use that, and they can come. If you refuse to do anything, let's say you want to break in here, and I say, no, I'm not taking no vaccine. They can say, well, you might have the virus, which is enough reason because you might infect the population out in the world. Because that's their reason. They can come here and drag me out of here. That's in Revelation. Are they going to drag us out of our home? That's also in the Apocrypha. I think it's in the Apocrypha. 2nd Esdras 25. Yeah. I think it's second Esdras 25. 2nd Esdras 25. Yeah. 2nd Esdras 15. I think that's what it is. I'm thinking it's. Well, I think it's 2nd Esdras. But anyway, it talks about how they would drag us out of our homes. COVID-19 is just the beginning. You ain't seen nothing yet. That's why the president was always talking about the New World Order. We were going to see what the New World Order was all about. The New World Order is going to bring about a change, the last government to stand. There'll be no other government after this. Once they get everybody under one accord, using this COVID-19 as a process of elimination, and elimination has to do with death. Oh, this is one of the one of my 3 Hebrew boys, Mike.
Shalom, brother.
Give your Hebrew name.
Shalom. I'm sorry.
Give your Hebrew name, and I think I done messed it up.
Theophilus.
Theophilus
Israel.
Theophilus.
It's actually Greek, but it's biblical, and it's actually my middle name. So I just go along with that for right now. Theophilus.
Mm-hmm. Brother, I'm glad you called because I'm finishing up here. The subject is about why we as a race of people are still crying out about what happened in Minnesota and why we're always getting shot down and killed and nothing happens, not only to the officers, even if I think the other 2 white guys, there was a killing before that killed another sin, and how he had upset the Most High in times past, and how the Most High is still upset with us because we're worshiping false gods. And I've shown how this is not going to stop. These curses are a sign that these killings are not going to stop, and we have to come out of our evil ways. Give us your opinion on what you think. Why we?
This is prophecy being fulfilled. The Bible tells us the word of the Lord never comes back to him void. So everything that's been put forth, it has to be fulfilled. We can go to an example, Isaiah 3. It talks about the daughters of Zion, and Isaiah 3 and 12 talks about the daughters of Zion shall rule over us, women and children. We see that by way of the judicial system, how women actually rule, just like the Bible says. It may not seem like it, but subliminally, they actually do. You have the Me Too movement. A lot of that stuff is hogwash, to be honest with you. very deceptive. And I believe the pendulum will swing. Now, that's just an example. But it's prophecy right here in Zechariah 11:5. It says, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty, and they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. This stuff took place to our people from our oppressors. This is prophecy being fulfilled. We see this is during the during the Jim Crow era, or I'm sorry, before the Jim Crow era, during the days of slavery. And they would kill us at will and say, I am not guilty.
Oh, okay, yeah.
A lot of us are still out because we don't have a voice. There is no one person that can change the whole thing. We don't have any might. The Bible says we will have no might. So we will continue to cry. Now we got people that's marching and all this other kind of stuff. To be honest, which I think a lot of people are riding on the coattails of our calamity for their own good,
right?
Or for their own agenda. To be honest with you, you have the Antifa movement, all the other kind of stuff. But to answer your question, brother, this is Bible prophecy. These things must take place. We just got to hold on. These things. What did Christ tell the disciples in Matthew the 24th chapter? He gave you detail for detail of the things that was going to take place before he returned.
Right.
And what did he say? These things must take place. So real part, this is my opinion, and I could be wrong. Jacob's trouble started in 70 AD and is continuing on even today.
Yeah.
Jacob's trouble will continue until Christ comes back, or Yeshua HaMashiach, until he returns.
That's right. That's right.
Thus, the Bible says he will save his people from their enemies. Who are our enemies?
And who, when you say his people, who is he speaking of?
Israel. What did he tell the Canaanite woman? She said, my daughter is possessed. I'm only sent to who? The lost sheep of the house of Israel. That's the northern kingdom as well as the southern kingdom.
That's what I said earlier.
yeah. That's the northern kingdom and the southern. But the Bible says the tents of Judah will wake up first. That's what's going on now.
How much?
I'm sorry?
How much you say? A tent?
No, the tent. T-E-N-T.
Tent. Oh, tent. A tent of Judah. Okay.
Yeah. The house of Judah will wake up first. What's going on now? Now, when he said the house of Judah wake up, Judah, which made up of Benjamin as well as Levi and Judah, those three tribes made up the southern kingdom. So basically,
Judah.
Sorry?
You say Judah, Benjamin, and Levi?
Those were the three tribes of the southern kingdom.
Oh. Okay.
Remember the northern kingdom, Hosea, he said, in the land you told you're not my people, there you will be called the sons of the living God. Now Ephraim was the leading tribe of the northern kingdom, but Ephraim was acting a fool, paying homage to other gods and other doctrines. So what happened? Hosea asked the Most High, what should I do with these people? He said, cut them off, let them go. This is the prophecy of, I think in Ezekiel 37, if I'm not mistaken, when he told the prophet, gather two sticks. One stick represents the northern kingdom, the other stick represents the southern kingdom. And he's going to merge these two sticks back together. Remember, they didn't like each other. And guess what the southern kingdom used to call the northern kingdom during the time of Christ's fall, as well as some of those that were from the southern kingdom by way of Alexander the Great. But now, those two sticks, or those two branches, first and the Gentiles. Now, those Gentiles that Paul was referring to were actually uncircumcised Israelites. Where I'm coming from. So those two sticks merging, they have yet to merge even to this day. Paul was trying to get them to merge back then, but they have yet to merge even to this day. But they are being merged because that's already prophecy that's going to be fulfilled.
And Judah, remember people, Judah are the Negroes in America. That's the majority of Judah's right here in America.
Brazil, Dominican Republic. The only difference between us and Usain Bolt is probably we speak a different dialect of English, but we are the real brothers, you see. Right. Yeah, we're brothers. the book. It's the book, brother. Remember, it said we were scattered. Judah was to be scattered all four corners of the earth.
That's right.
How were we scattered? By way of the slave ships.
Yeah, that's right.
That transatlantic slave trade. And you had the sub-Saharan slave trade. People don't know anything about that. A lot of Arabs bought and sold us into slavery as well.
Right.
The Ishmaelites. They did a lot of wrong.
You're real Muslim.
So, boy, he gonna get it.
And who is Esau?
Esau is the white man.
Caucasian race. Remember, people. Remember, I told you that, people.
Esau is the white man, brother. The
Yes,
Bible
sir.
is Mormon, and Jacob came after him, but the Bible never described what Jacob looked like, and the reason why is because all of them look like Jacob. Black as a boot.
Right.
You understand? Esau, the only one came out red and hairy all over, and Esau had a grandson or a great-grandson named Amalek. And in the Bible, it says that Amalek will be the ruler of the Edomites.
Right.
Even to this day. Now, they had an opportunity to be completely annihilated by King Saul when the Most High told King Saul, I want you to take out all Amalekites. But he spared the king. And the king, once he was spared, he started popping babies everywhere. So his seed and that deceptive rulership continued to carry on. So you have a lot of people that are descendants of Amalek to this day. You had some from all the way from Alexander the Great to the queen up there that are presidents in the United States. There are also descendants of Amalek. A lot of them inbred because they wanted to keep their blood pure.
Yeah.
You know. So a lot of that stuff, man, this Bible is real, brother. And the Bible says, the Most High said in the Old Testament, I'm going to have to deal with Amalek all the way to the ends of the world. Guess who else is a descendant of Amalek? The so-called Jews over there in Israel to this day.
The Jewish people,
Those
that's
people,
right. Jewish.
They run the entire world.
Yeah.
They are what the Bible calls the synagogue of Satan. That's who they are to this day.
Revelation 2:9.
They don't fit the description of the real Jews.
Right.
And guess what else? They know who, you know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Living off a stolen identity. See? Happening to us in the streets, people. I'm telling you, got to wake up. Get off that African American garbage. I'm telling you.
Get out of there. In the Bible tells us we be given a byword. That's African
American. A byword, yes. A byword.
Yeah, it's a byword, brother.
Brother, I ain't gonna hold you, man. I'm getting ready to end this. I'm so glad the Most High had you call. You still with me?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I said I'm getting ready to end this, man. I'm glad the Most High God had you call.
Oh man, not a problem. Yeah, go ahead and take care of your business, man. But this is always good to break bread, man, and get into these scriptures, man.
Yeah.
This is our heritage.
Yeah.
So this is our heritage, man, and we need to come together again and make this happen. You know, break bread and sharpen iron.
Oh yeah. We're gonna get it again. Hey, tell your family I said shalom to them, and I'm gonna get with you here when I finish this video.
Okay, sounds good, brother. Shalom.
Shalom, brother.
Shalom.
That was all right. That's Most High God doing that. That brother there, he came with some good stuff. I'm gonna end this, people, but I'm gonna go to the Zondervan Bible Dictionary. I want to show you something, and then I'm gonna end this. I think I've given enough information why all this killing won't stop, and it's not going to stop. It's not going to stop, people. Sorry, because of who we are, what our ancestors did, and what we're doing today. Zondervan Bible Dictionary. This is the Zondervan Bible Dictionary, okay? I'm going to go into it, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to read Ham. Teach. Because people like to say, especially white folks, they like to say black people come from Ham. We're cursed. We're cursed because of Ham. This is Ham. The definition of Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of the 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor of the dark races, but not the Negroes, but the Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites. Canaan is where Esau went to the land of Canaan when he felt he lost his birthright. When he started getting wives and having babies, he went to the Canaanites. That was a cursed land. And that's where they had a disease was there called leprosy. And those people there started losing their melanin. See, this is how white people started multiplying from leprosy. Not what the Nation of Islam is saying, birth after birth after birth. No, it was from leprosy. And leprosy is in scripture. When we was in the wilderness, when God told Moses to stick his hand in his bosom and bring it out, it was leprosy. He lost the melanin and put it back. It was back being dark again. It was black again. Okay, that's Ham, but not the Negroes. See, Negroes, we are not from Ham. We're from Shem, one of the 3 sons of Noah, from Shem. Now, let's go to Esau. Let's go to Esau, E-S. Or Edom. Edomites. Let me see if it's Esau. Yes. Let's show you Esau. And Jacob was brothers with Esau. Just to give you the definition. Esau, okay. Esau. Esau, firstborn of twin brothers, Esau and Jacob, sons of Isaac and Rebekah. Okay. Sold his birthright for a mess of pottage to his brother. Married 2 Hittite women. That's in Genesis 26. Sought to kill Jacob for tricking him out of Isaac's blessing. Later reconciled to Jacob. It was way later when he reconciled because Jacob never tricked him. Esau had just come from killing the guy that built the Tower of Babel. I can't think of his name. But he killed him off in part of his army. And Esau came back. When he came back home, he was kind of bloody and messed up. So he asked Jacob if he was dying anyway, give him something to eat. And Jacob said he would do it, but he had to sell him his birthright. So that's how that went down. But white folks want to say Jacob tricked him. How is that a trick? Sought to kill Jacob out of Israel, reconciled with Jacob. Scripture, and they was really up in age when he reconciled with Jacob. By that time, Esau's sons was already grown men, and they were warring with the nation, with the nation we call right there next to Rome, Greece. And by the time Esau got an old man, he reconciled with Jacob. And they would over years, try to war with the children of Jacob and lost every single time. But he had 4 wives. And he married into the Middle Eastern He married a Middle Eastern girl too. Scripture sometimes uses Esau as the name of the land of Edom in which his descendants lived. See, Esau did go to the land of Edom, and that's where his people started multiplying because they was losing their melanin, and that's why they were called Edomites. They would those that had that leprosy lived in that area. Blue eyes, straight hair, and skin kept getting whiter and whiter every time they would, over the years give birth, and they were multiplied over years. See, it's really really deep. It's really deep. But this is what happens when you give up that Sunday doctrine and come back to the Most High. There's so much to learn. There's so much to know. And you'll understand why we've been gunned down. And it's not going to stop. Eventually, they're going to drag us out of these homes. See? And the next false flag, they're going to have a bunch of FEMA camps. Because a lot of females have children and they got to eat. They're going to get us there in the FEMA camps too. So I just thought I'd bring this video to shed some light on why it seems like there's no hope, and every time we go to court, it seems like they win and we don't. Well, that's why. We're Israel, and we've come back to our God, and God is still to this day calling us back. He's waking us up, but it's a slow process. His brother Yahweh, and hopefully next time we talk, it would be my other two brothers with me, the three Hebrew boys. So until then, you have a good day. Shalom. Shalom to you.